He'd said he needed to talk about... Oh, fuck. He'd said he needed to talk about me. Elliot's talking shit. Hey everyone, so in today's video, I'm going to be doing a follow-up to my last video talking about all my books even though no one asked, and this is going to be reading from all my books even though no one asked. Except for that one person on Tumblr, so thank you to that person for enabling my video making. I'm actually in a different setup today because I am lazy. I really don't want to set up my lights. In today's video, I'm going to be reading from every single one of my books, including the books. If you are unaware of what the books means, or you haven't watched the original talking about all my books, even though no one asked, I'll link that wherever it is. Je suis YouTuber. I have about 2,000 words here. I have my computer right here and my mic and then some water. Get your water intake, children. I'm gonna be reading the first page of all of my books and my other projects, and this chair is really creaky, so I tried to nail it down to around 250 words. I was originally just gonna choose passages, but then I thought, you know what's more fun than reading your old work? Reading your old work on the first page because you didn't have a chance to even try to make it better. These are the first drafts. I really wanted to give you guys the real shitty experience of what my writing was like. So if you didn't see the talking about all my books video, I would watch that first because I talk about how old I was when I wrote the project, how many words it is, and a little bit about the project itself, so it's going to make a lot more sense if you watch that video first. So the first passage, I'm going to be reading the first page from Sophie and Jake. So I'm gonna do my best to do voices. So this is the first page of Sophie and Jake. Chapter 1. I sit alone in the dim corridor waiting for Elliot to arrive. He'd said he needed to talk to me. My palms sweat and my heartbeat quickens. I have no clue what he wants to talk to me about, but it worries me. I get poised to leave right as I hear a faint clicking far ahead. It's getting closer and louder as every second ticks by, but something's not right. The clicking is fast. Too fast. Someone's running to me. I quickly shoot up when I see him. He's definitely been running. I can tell by the quick rise and fall of his chest and the thin sheen that covers his face. I know something's wrong just by looking at his expression. Even in the dim light of this corridor, I can see his golden brown eyes, strained. His auburn hair rumpled, his peachy lips in a straight line. Elliot, I blurt out, concern smothering my voice. Sophie, he replies. Unlike my voice, his sounds smooth, calm. I relax a little at the sound of him speaking. Calm down, Sophie. His faint Scottish accent rings through his voice as he stares at me. I'm unable to speak. The worried look on his face disappears. He looked genuinely worried about something. But this is Elliot. Even if he is worried, he can lighten up the mood by just talking. Elliot, I managed to croak out. What's wrong? Sophie, nothing's wrong with me. I know I have to talk to you, but I'm afraid I'll have to wait. I've got bigger news. So this is why Elliot looks so distraught. Director Johnson has asked to speak to you. So that was it for Sophie and Jake, coming out 2020. Folks, y'all want to buy the next copy? The New York Times bestselling author. So the next project that I'm going to be narrating for you guys today is The Dreamer, Chapter 1, True. The air is musty and humid. The rusty metal bin I'm squished into is not comfortable at all. My freedom to move is very minimal. I slow my breathing and force myself to calm down. I try to figure out what just happened. That man had a good eye if he was able to spot the small symbol behind my left ear. The feather with a dagger running through it proves me a dreamer. While I was running, my hair must have flown up, exposing the tattoo. Stupid, I scold myself for acting so rashly. I can't stay in here any longer. The humans will find me and have my heart on display in no time. I wedge out of my hiding spot slowly. Thankfully, I'm small, so I don't suffocate by doing so. I wince when a stray piece of metal catches my arm. I curse under my breath when I look at it. The gash runs from my elbow to wrist. My reflective gold blood oozes out as it catches the light. I'm not looking at it in admiration. I'm looking at it in disgust. My blood will give me away. Great. I have to be so different, the tattoo behind my ear, my gold blood. Dreamers had to be unnaturally beautiful, too. The humans hate us. Why wouldn't they? When we dream, we take something away from them. That's why we're the hunted. The hated. 12-year-old Rachel. So, on to the third project, The Treated, Chapter 1. The treated are separated into two categories, Siren and Torrid. The Siren are susceptible to cold, towards susceptible to hot. Your category will be determined during implementation. My attention snaps away from the automated message to the door that swings open. Colt walks out, keepers and doctors surrounding him. My instincts say to run to the group and shove them away, but I know if I do, the keepers will put a bullet in my head. After all, they did the same thing to my dad. Once they've dissipated, he walks over to me. Even though his smile is forever gone, he holds his head up with confidence. "Meg, calm down, please," he whispers to me. He whispers, so, "Meg, calm down, please." "I'm trying, I really am," I say with a shaky voice. "Look." Colt hands his right hand to me, presenting the black ring implanted on his index finger. The inner gold coating of the ring signals the model made specifically for 18-year-olds. Every year after this, we'll have to get a new color coated on the inside. I peer closer and see a small 210, processed, Siren, printed in gold font on the surface. He's officially one of them. He's officially one of the treated. So, the fourth project that I'm going to be talking about is Perks and Drawbacks, Chapter 1. So, this is how it works. Kat starts while pointing to a small group of kids hovering over keyboards. "You have the gaming geeks over there." Each member of the isolated clique sits hunched over at their table, all typing furiously away at their computers, all while adjusting their glasses as they mumble things into their headsets. Then you have the theatrics right by the lunch trays, the followers there, she says, thrusting her fingers to the group full of girls wearing what I'd call ridiculous getup, the gang sitting right next to the trash bins. Classy. Hey, that's where I sit. Oh my god, I roasted myself. In grade 8, I roasted myself. Little did I know in grade 9, I'd be sitting next to a garbage can every freaking year. I go to open my mouth to tell her that she can stop explaining, wish her thanks for helping me out, then get on my way. But the moment I take a step forward, she snatched my arm, glares at the next table that's wedged into the corner of the cafeteria. "The varsities." She lets out an irritable grunt, crossing her arms tight over her chest. "If I were you, I'd stay away from them. They're all stuck-up, unfriendly idiots," Kat says, her tone going cold. The varsities, as she calls them, just so happen to be a cluster of people in our school colors, cheer uniforms. I nod at her to show that I'm half paying attention, my eyes wandering around the cafeteria in a lazy swoop. And last but no way in hell the least, the populars. She's still talking. "That over there is something I like to call home." Kat's face seems to light up as she stares in that direction, this odd, warm pleasantness coming to her eyes. Honestly, I didn't think it was possible to enjoy staring at a table so much. Alright, so now we get into the era of the good books, and I'm actually going to be reading from Fostered. Fostered, Chapter 1. With my arms outstretched, I ready myself for the fall I'm in for. I inhale sharply, the air sifting through my teeth as I hit the ground hard, the unevenness underneath me sending my hair straight up. In some areas, the ground is cool in temperature, feeling papery and damp, whereas the rest of it is flat and hard. I begin to push away from it, trying to get away because I'm sure whatever's under me isn't supposed to be there, eventually stopping to silence the constant shuffling of the clothing that clings to my body. I let out a frustrated sigh after a while because I know this is a waste of my time. Because whoever's standing a few feet away already knows I'm here. Relentlessly, I begin to rise to surrender, but my hand catches onto a few strands of what feels like hair just as it hits a warm mess, blood. I bite the inside of my cheek hard as to not scream out, because now I'm freaked out. I shuffle around a bit more, nausea jolting through me when I rake the back of what I think is a human hand. That itself is enough for me to shriek in surprise. I shove myself off of the body, frantically swiping the blood onto the dry concrete. I shoot up from my kneeling position, steadying myself while I squint through the darkness of the room, trying to make out something, anything at all. There's a long silence between me and the others, the metallic tainted air filling the blackness of the room. Okay, I think that one is the worst one. Did you hear, we had, the riveting plot line, the amazing dialogue, guys? We had, tension, we had conflict, we had stakes in those first pages, and Fostered is just boring. So I'm next going to be reading from This Is Where the End Starts. He grunted, an emotion of amusement and hostility. Beckett muttered what sounded like "damn it" before thrusting his hand out sharply to the side, catching the charging man toward him. He laughed at the sight, turning to run the other direction, get away from here, out of Calloway's clutches. Quinn! Screams a voice I know all too well, my lively friend who could beat a hummingbird if they so decided to compete in a wing-flapping competition. Only my all-too-perky best friend, Marilyn. I shut the glossy jasper of my computer, Simeon purring in response to the action. Yes, I named my computer, and I made sure he was purple. I bring my glasses down, cocking an eyebrow at her in a silent questioning, my eyes deathly on hers. Quinn, oh my god, you have to see this. You have to. Marilyn, what? Slow down, jeez, I say with a laugh, gesturing for her to come over to where I sit. There's a new guy, brand new, knows absolutely nothing about us. That means we actually have a shot with him, she says, clapping her hands in excitement, sliding down to my level. I turn to face her full on, cocking my eyebrow in a silent, really? That's great and all, but I think I'll pass on the field trip opportunity, I say, rolling my eyes, popping Simeon's screen back up. So the first part is her book, if that doesn't make sense. I can tell because it's in italics, but who knows? So now we're back to Fostered, so we're going to read Hunted, which is book 2 in Fostered, chapter 1. It's been a month since I've heard anything. It's been a month since the three of us split up, and it's been a month since I've been regretting it. I can still see the expression on Foster's face, that look that told me that he really didn't want to do this, that he wanted to keep our group together. I wanted to keep the group together. I wanted that so bad, but we all knew that there was a necessary part of our lives where we had to do some experimentation. Foster said he'd go to try and track his family down, move in with them somehow. Harrison's saying he'd go back to his old foster parents. I told them I'd find my parents, slap some sense in them, leave, and then find them in a couple of weeks, but I haven't done that yet. My room's small, a slanted wooden roof overhead, the small wooden desk that I'm sitting at. It has that old wood scent to it, and that alone should have sent me out of here, back to the people I love, but the fact of the matter is, it hasn't. Foster's written me countless letters telling me how his parents have finally come to a decision to let him stay, telling me how they are, how his sister is. She's pretty much the most annoying brat on the planet. I swear to God, every damn thing other people do must be justified. If not, it's not good enough for her. She doesn't like me either, so I guess that evens things out. Miss you a lot, Foster. My heart. So now we're going to read book 3 of Fostered, so Resisted, chapter 1. The gun feels cold cupped in my hand, my fingers shaking at the trigger. Just do it, I spit at myself, trying to sum up the courage to pull it, get this over with. It'll only take a second. You won't even have to see it happen. I stare at the scraggly blonde in front of me, her hair tangled into knots, face smeared with dirt. Blood is dried around her nose, which seems to be forcefully crooked, eyes black, jawline bruising. Her hands in front of her are trembling, although they are bound by a thick, rusting chain. I can see her lips trying to make out the words, please, my eyes growing glossy as I stare at her. She is a prisoner, and I am supposed to kill her. Just look away and you won't even know it happened. Look away. Her eyes are the color of the sky, clear of clouds, bright and lively, although glossed over in fear. She must be around my age, just at the peak of her youth. Her cheeks seem to retain the natural red stain they have to them, even though she's been injured repeatedly. I get caught up in the bright sky of her eyes, seeing the way she's pleading with me. Look away, I demand, finding myself too frozen to rip my gaze away from her. Unable to stop, I continue to stare at the girl, stare at her pleading blue eyes, pink lips. Look away. I can hear the angel on my shoulder screaming at me. You can do it if you look. With the shake of my head, I pull the weapon back, shoving it back into its holster that's strung around my hip. Alright, so now I'm going to read the first page of I'm Disappointed. So, I wasn't originally actually going to choose the very first version of I'm Disappointed, but I decided to actually choose the version that I revised for Teen Pit. So, I'm Disappointed. Chapter 1. I don't hate writing essays, I just hate writing them on Fridays. Not only because the bell rang 3 minutes ago and I still haven't gotten a word down, but because Miss Farley, winner of this year's Most Hated Teacher Award, is watching me like she's a snake and I'm her prey. I stab my pencil to the paper. Honestly, the last thing any teenager wants to hear from their parent is, I'm disappointed in you. I'm disappointed you didn't water the lawn, disappointed you failed your math exam, disappointed you drove the car into the neighbor's pool. Those two words are basically the devil, and not the hot girls with horns at Halloween kind of devil, but the now I shall burn you to dust kind of devil. My pencil taps against the desk like an out-of-sync drum beat. Avoiding the urge to either snap it or chew on it, I continue scrawling out words in my notebook. I'm disappointed in you is the bane of any teenager's existence because unlike other things your parents say, it sticks with you forever. I'm embarrassed of you, I'm upset with you, anything is better than your parents spilling the dreaded D word. Yeah, profuse moping might ensue, but at least deep down you know that they still kind of tolerate you and your pizza face. But as soon as the classic I'm disappointed in you is put on the table, it's all hell inside. Because you're sure whatever you've done isn't what you should have been doing. Before I can finish my free writing paper, Miss Farley has ripped it from my hand. Oh my god, I miss Clifford. That was so cute. So the next project I'm going to be reading from is the fourth book of Fostered and Hallowed. This one is very short because there wasn't much I could share that ended at like a solid point. So this is going to be much shorter than the other ones. I think the other ones are at 250 words. This is like at 100. So chapter 1. I sleep with a knife. It's pulled close to my chest, the cool tip of the metal pressing flat against my skin. I stole it from the kitchen, and although it has no handle, it's still the only thing I have to defend myself with. Deep breaths go in and out, dividing at the sharp blade, and I stare at it, hold it like a lifeline. The weapon in my hand is the only thing that lets me feel strength, regardless of the shit I've gone through. But still, I drop it beneath my pillow when the heavy wooden door is shoved open. So the next project we have is Splintered. So, chapter 1. His hands are shaking. Though his head is bent and his eyes are shut and he can't see me, I can't even touch him, his hands are still shaking. Even though it's been me occupying the side of surrender for the past couple of months and not him. Even though he's not the one who wakes with raging nightmares and hands that claw against bare sheets, searching. He's the one with the shaking hands. I know he can feel my gaze observing him from behind the glass. I know he knows the girl he thought he once knew is standing outside the room he's gotten to know, watching him know that I know his hands are shaking. The space we've confined him into is small, but not claustrophobically so. Dark, but lit with bright, incandescent lights that flicker ever so often in time with his jerking fingers. The walls are white here, the floor, the ceiling, the lean mattress wedged in the corner, the blanket draped lazily over his shoulders, his hair. The only thing that differs in color is the glass my breath fogs up. Picking up the white telephone mounted on the windowed ledge, I bring it up to my ear, feel the cool plastic meet my skin. And now, I can't believe we're on the last one. So, this is actually Rewired. I wish I had, like, the first page of, like, something more recent, but I wrote Rewired a long time ago, so even though it's my most recent project, I wouldn't say this is an accurate depiction of what I write now. At least I hope not. Chapter 1, Breathing Room. Time moves slow in the dead weight of silence. It's one of those things where if spent with the right person can dissolve, but in my case, spent with absent company can be less than exciting. Beside me is wood smoke and copper, leather and strong coffee, all strung around human flesh. He moves with precision like a player focused on a riveting chess match, and most notably, doesn't talk to me. Harrison and I have been at work in HQ's pantry, sorting through half-open packages of pasta, unlabeled cans, and crushed tubes of saltines. Our job, or more accurately, his job, is to sort out ration boxes for everyone. That means going through a list of names, clearing specifics, then gathering enough of a supply for 2 weeks. This has usually been the task Lonan takes up in the early mornings he can't sleep. But the last month of him giving pretty much everyone the cold shoulder has resulted in a shift in role. Though Riss, unlike me, doesn't seem to mind. He's got a copy of the information chart he's written up clutched in his hand. Mine lays forgotten on the floor. You think he could actually help me instead of sitting around? That's it for the last project. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was a lot of fun to film. I hope you liked my audiobook narrator voice. My audiobook narrator voice is so much more pleasant than my speaking voice, I think. You know what would be fun? If anybody is interested in this, reading my books, but it's an ASMR. Yes! I should really make that video. I think that would be really funny. Do you guys want an ASMR video on this channel? So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Oh my god. This is why I'm gonna die alone. Okay.
I asked St. Christopher to find your sister. She ran